held off Von Gerdegy, and the two are in the air together at the last. Burnbridge Hotel has stayed on in 36 lengths back. It's Von Gerdegy who's getting the better of the argument now on the run towards the line under Thomas Willmott, and he's 4 lengths clear for Thomas. Lucinda Russell has sent this one down from Scotland, and this one will...
Tana running a big race. White Lilac and Sky Hill are just in behind them. Just Brooker's weakened on the run down towards the last hurdle. Emirata Katana, Angel's Envy and Miss Your Bago. Emirata Katana over on the far side. Emirata Katana now moving on, being followed by Angel's Envy and Miss Your Bago in the run to the line. It is Emirata Katana who has the lead. Angel's Envy and Miss Your Bago running on. Emirata Katana the winner.
Then to Hello Country, Roll of Thunder. Miss Amelia follows these. A little break back to Pads and Sleep In first. Well, Ring a Rosie has made all of the running to this point. She's galloping on up the hill and left-handed back towards the home straight, but Kitty Fisher is now getting an awful lot closer. The lead down to around about 5 lengths only as Thomas Willmott now shakes the reins at Ring a Rosie. Kitty Fisher is in second place. Tommy Dowson in pursuit. There's around about 4 lengths between the pair at the last. Back in third is Roll of Thunder, as with every stride Kitty Fisher closes down Ring a Rosie. Under a furlong left to go. This side is Ring a Rosie, the far side Kitty Fisher. Kitty Fisher's had a chance to go by, but she's not going to do so because Ring a Rosie's finding plenty on the run to the line, and Ring a Rosie makes every yard of the running, beating Kens for well above par, and he's over to the other side safely and clearly to Slinglock, who landed in second. Back in third, a tired looking Bernardelli, then Instant Replay, Clan Legend and Western Rules, and they race into the final 100 yards. Being pushed out here is well above par by Thomas Willmott. Slinglock is around about 6 lengths down close home, but he won't catch well above par, who's taken them apart in all truth. Well above par for Lucinda Russell, wins today's...
Good evening, welcome along to another interview. I'm pleased to be joined by conditional jockey Thomas Willmott. Thomas, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I think a good place to start would be talk about how you got into racing. Was you brought up in a racing family, or was horses something that you weren't around as a kid?
No, not at all. I wasn't around horses at all. My mum and dad haven't got any background in anything to do with horses, so kind of got into it by accident, and then it kind of came about from there.
So how did you get into? I think the first job was at Lucinda Russell's. How did that opportunity come about, and what was that? How was that whole experience for you?
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, my first kind of job. I worked for a trainer just 5 minutes from where I'm from, Selkirk, Stuart Coltherd. I worked for him straight from school, and that was great. I had a great experience, and then the kind of natural progression was to go to Lucinda's, and she wasn't too far away. Only about an hour and a half up the road from home, so it was kind of the natural progression, and yeah, it stood me in good stead, and I loved it there.
So how was obviously Peter Scudamore's part of the setup there? Was he a big influence on you in your career? Obviously he's been a champion jockey before. He's won many big races. Was he a big influence on you in helping you as a young jockey coming through? Oh,
absolutely. Like he's there all the time, schooling. He's at the races. He's on the gallop. He even rides out. So the help and the support I got off him alone was absolutely second to none. I wouldn't be. There's no probably about it. I wouldn't be in the place I am now with in terms of my riding without him. And he, it was a great help. And obviously I've got a support network. Being a conditional with kind of a BHA jockey coach, which is Brian Harden, and I'm lucky as well that I get a small bit of help now and then off John Francome as well. That was through Peter as well. So I'm lucky that I've got a good selection of people around me.
So what's it like for you to sort of tap into that knowledge from John Francome and Brian Harding, two jockeys who had brilliant careers? What's it been like for you to sort of go to them, and are they people who sort of help you dissect a race after a race and highlight where you've gone wrong or where you've improved and where sort of the areas you could look to brush up on in a finish or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It could be anything from maybe the way I look at a race, the way I look at the form, or it might just be maybe, I might have come off unseated off something and I could have maybe stayed on. It's all kind of different aspects. Brian is absolutely super. He looks after quite a lot of the conditionals in the north, and I can see him kind of when I can. He's got a bit set up at his house, at his yard, for coaching, so we can do a bit on the equisizer there. And in regards to John, I don't speak to him kind of every day, but if I've had a ride and he's happened to be at home, we can chat about it quickly, because he's obviously a busy man. But when you've got two people like them helping you along, I think it helps put your mind at rest as well, because sometimes you can overanalyze things a wee bit, I think.
You mentioned about recoveries at Musselburgh on New Year's Day. You made an absolutely superb recovery. In them sort of scenarios, does it happen too quickly to prepare for anything? So you just basically instinct kicks in and you just have to basically do all you can to stay on the horse?
Yeah, I think so. It was one of them that didn't feel as bad at the time, and then I came in and saw the replay on the screen and realised that it looked quite spectacular. But I was quite lucky. The horse put his head up, which kept me in place. But no, it was kind of, I think it was pure luck. Being New Year's Day, it might have been my luck for the year.
Was you quite surprised to see it go quite viral on social media? ITV Racing tweeted out on social media, and a lot of people got interacted with it. So that must have been something to be proud of, at least.
Oh, I suppose so, yeah. I don't really like a lot of attention on things, and I don't. But I think as well, it was good. ITV obviously tweeted it, and my phone never stopped all afternoon. And I suppose any publicity is good publicity. So no, it wasn't a bad thing after all.
Looking back, before the season actually started, you was in a sort of recovery mission. Really took a somewhat nasty looking fall at Perth, and you was at Jackberry House. So for people who don't know about Jackberry House, how good were they to you in your recovery after breaking, I think it was your collarbone and a couple of ribs, I think you broke as well?
Yeah, so I had a fall at the last fence at Perth. The horse was running well, and I broke my collarbone, 3 ribs, and my shoulder blades. So it was sore enough. Jackberry House have been great. I've kind of been unfortunate but lucky. I've had kind of 3 injuries where I've been out for a number of weeks, and they've been absolutely great. I can just pack my bags and head off there for as long as I need to. And I think I had the fall maybe on the Wednesday or the Thursday, and by the following Monday I was in Jackberry House. So they're very, very quick, and they know my medical history. They know what they're exclusive to jockeys, which is brilliant, and they know the sport as well as anyone. And they can get you back as quickly and fitter and stronger than ever.
Looking back at some of the horses at Lucinda, such as Low and Behold and Wenger de Guy, have been 2 really good horses to you. At a young jockey stage in your career, when you're going racing, knowing you're on a horse who's so consistent, it must be a good feeling knowing you're going to get 9 times out of 10 a good ride for your trip up to the track.
Oh, definitely. Obviously, my time at Lucinda, I was very lucky. I kind of built a relationship and an association with kind of 4 or 5 horses. There's horses like Riva Badiva. She was good to me, well above par. I won kind of 2 races on him. Wenger de Guy, he was always competitive. Horses like that I was always I was always looking forward to riding, and Lucinda always had them in tip-top shape, and I was lucky that they were most of the time consistent.
So what was the atmosphere like in the yard? I think you have Derek Fox in there as well, a Grand National winning jockey as well, one for Arthur. He must have been a good jockey to sort of get extra guidance from as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Derek is one of my closest friends, and I used to live with him until I kind of headed off to pastures new recently. But Derek's great, and he's been there and done it himself. Obviously, he's won the national, but Derek's a very good horseman, and I learned a lot of him, not only about race riding, but I used to help him in the summertime with young horses and breakers, and he's absolutely brilliant with doing young horses, and that's probably I learned a lot of him doing that.
And talking about moving to pastures new, now at Sue Smith's, a Grand National winning trainer, Sue Harvey Smith, of course, they've got some wonderful ammunition as well. How did that move come about, and do you think at your stage in your career that was possibly the right time to move on and then develop into an even better jockey?
Yeah, obviously the job kind of came about. It was almost kind of word of mouth, and I'd ridden out a couple of times here when I'd been, down this way, maybe Doncaster or Wetherby. And it was one of those things that I'd worked for Lucinda for 4 years, and nearly 4 years, and it was great. And I can't thank Lucinda and Peter Scudamore enough for what they've done. They've put me on the map and got me established as a conditional, but I think sometimes you've got to try and spread your wings a little bit and try and grab a new opportunity. And the main thing was, Ryan Mania kind of rides, most of them. And Sam Coltherd is here. He's here as well. He's only got a couple of winners left on his £3 claim. And there was a kind of a small opening for a conditional that, I've got quite a few winners left on my 5. So that kind of hopefully can carry through as well, and we'll see. Hopefully it's the start of good things to come.
And how's it been going for you so far down at Sue Harvey Smith's?
Yeah, it's been good, thank you. Yeah, obviously getting settled in, and look, I'm enjoying it. I like a challenge, and I'm just kind of getting used to the new horses and getting used to the new routine. It's just been frustrating recently with the weather because I've been lucky enough that Sue's kind of put me up on horses quite quickly, so I've missed. I had 2 rides for Catrick the other day, which was great. But we're just missing out on racing with the abandonment of fixtures due to the frost and the snow.
So with the abandoned meetings, obviously there's been replaced by the jumpers, bumpers. You've had a couple of rides in them. They seem like tricky little races where they sometimes go quite slow. Or we've seen at Newcastle last week, a horse of Jimmy Moffat's went out right in front and they couldn't catch him. What I like to ride in, they seem quite tactical and it's very stop, start, stop, start.
Yeah, you're right. I've kind of, to be honest, I've only had 2 rides in 2 jumpers bumpers. So I wouldn't be the most knowledgeable about them, but they seem that way. Sometimes they go a good gallop and it turns into quite a quick race, and other times they kind of crawl around for the first circuit and then they just kind of creep into it and it turns into a sprint. But I think, whereas I'm concerned, the kind of general people that I ride for, kind of Sue Smith, people like her, people like Sue, that she doesn't have any runners just because she hasn't got the horses. You see people like Brian Ellison, Rebecca Menzies. These kind of trainers do very well because they've maybe got the horse for the jumpers bumpers, but it swings and roundabouts. It'll come round, and I might end up being busy there. Next week. It's just kind of luck of the draw, I think.
You mentioned, I'm looking back on some of your time before you moved down to Sue Smith. You rode a lot for Katie Scott as well, a trainer who showed good faith in you. A trainer who perhaps not many people might know of, but she's a very good dual purpose trainer in her own right. But what was she like, and how good has she been for you in your career so far as well?
Yeah, Katie's great. She's a close friend. I've known her for many years, and I kind of started there when I was still at school. I was lucky enough that I went down there at weekends and different things, and that was when she was kind of just training point to pointers and a couple under rules. So now she's moved on to bigger things, and she's making a good name for herself in the dual purpose. She's good with her flat horses, and she's got a lovely horse there, Rockley Point, that seems to fly the flag for her, and she does well with her jumpers as well. I think it's hard for a young trainer starting out with owners and getting horses and being competitive, but Katie's doing a good job, and I can see, she's only going to keep going forward.
And just finally for you, in terms of looking ahead to the rest of the season, hopefully when we can get back racing due to the weather, hopefully improving. You mentioned about having plenty of room to manoeuvre with your £5 claim. Is that something you're looking to lose, hopefully in the not too distant future, and then hopefully go down to a £3 claim?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that's always the plan. I think I've kind of set my sights early on in the season at trying to get progressing as quick as I can, but I think I'm kind of trying to take it now as each day as it comes and try and improve my riding as much as I can, and try and just keep to a high standard of riding. Things have been difficult. I've been obviously unlucky with a few injuries, so I'm just kind of trying to keep the head down, and hopefully I'm just almost starting a fresh page down here in Yorkshire now with Sue Harvey, so hopefully we can get going a bit.
Right, perfect. Thomas, thank you very much for joining me. That was